Hi there, this is episode 57 of the Alfie Whattam Technology Podcast, of course, sponsored by Alpha Technology. If you're a company looking to hire UK developers, or if you're a developer open to new opportunities in the UK yourself, whether that's in London, anywhere, fully remote, whatever, welovealpha.com has the developer jobs and the developers that you need to grow your career and your team. So welovealpha.com, sponsors of the Alfie Whattam Tech Podcast. On episode 57 today, I'm joined by Adrian Kowalski. Adrian, how are you?
Hi, yeah, I'm great.
Good stuff, good stuff. And for the listeners, for the viewers, could you just give us a little bit of background, mate? Just tell us about yourself, tell us about your position, your career, what you've done, what kind of industries you've worked in, and what kind of sort of development you've been doing.
So currently, I'm a software development manager in IBM. Prior to my current role, which I moved into around 5 months ago, I was a performance engineer in IBM as well. And then, just prior to that, I was a system tester also in IBM. I was an experienced hire, so before I joined IBM, I was a software developer. In a different company called Viavi Solutions. So they were a big data telecoms kind of solution where they process kind of all of the events, which is everything that telephone companies collect about you, and try and kind of figure out various information, like if there's any problems within the network and that kind of stuff. So worked my entire life, worked my professional career within the technology industry. Prior to that, I used to do events organizing, and I actually graduated from computer science as a software engineer. So that was the beginning of my career.
Okay, awesome. Well, IBM, massive business, been around for a long time. So obviously, great place to be, and gives you some good insights into what's happening in the world at the moment. We've got some pretty crazy news to discuss over the next sort of 20 minutes or so that I sent you the links for. So let me just share with you kind of what's been happening in the world of tech. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So pizza pie in the sky, drone food delivery expands to more NC neighborhoods. I think NC's North Carolina, I think it's in the States.
Mm-hmm.
So pizza, sushi, burgers, and more could all fly right to your front door. Flytrex, a company that delivers food via flying drones, just announced a new expansion that will allow them to deliver to more than 100,000 customers in neighborhoods around Holly Springs, Fayetteville, and Rayford. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing this correctly, but 100,000 people, that's quite a lot of people. Huge news for customers across North Carolina, NC. We've been approved to deliver up to 2.3 miles, quadrupling the number of customers that currently enjoy rapid drone delivery service. They fly at 33 miles per hour, over 200 feet in the sky, and it can reach the customer's door in less than 5 minutes. And we've got a little video as well. It's quite romantic music. So it looks like it drops the string. I don't know if you can see the video playing really well there, but it will fly over your yard. And then I was speaking to a guy that was working on these, and he says that there's some kind of QR code that you might have to lay down in your garden so that it can scan it and know where to drop it. And then it goes on a piece of string on a bag. It's obviously pretty crazy. You can also pick up in public spots like parks. 20 different restaurants are doing it right now. And the justification in many respects, apart from the innovation, is that as transportation becomes more expensive, especially in situations like COVID, then this is a great alternative to look at, right? So, that's a little bit about what's kind of happening in the drone world. What do you think, Adrian? Would you go for this? Would you order from a flying drone?
So to be honest with you, I think it's quite an exciting kind of news. I think I would definitely love to order my delivery using drones, but I think this is a sector which there's going to be potentially quite a lot of issues, right? I mean, you don't really want to be, you're looking at the sky with loads of drones flying around everywhere. Any collisions, any problems. Imagine if you're, waking up in the morning, looking at your car and a drone has fallen down and damaged your car, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is a very exciting technology, and I would love to see it implemented in the future. However, I think they have a lot of potential issues that they will have to tackle before that, becomes kind of normal for everyone to kind of use.
Yeah.
In saying that, do you prefer a drone flying around and delivering, your pizza or your shopping, or do you prefer a car, keeping you in traffic and preventing you from going to work, or you being late for your work or a meeting that you're kind of decide to go to. So there's there's disadvantages and advantages of it, but I think we are going to see it more in the future, to be honest.
It's going to happen, right? I don't think, even if we look at the good or the bad, I think it's going to happen. People are working on it. It's getting better and better and better. But you're right, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You said about a drone dropping on a car, but what if a drone dropped on a person? What if it hit a bird and it fell and hit a person? You could say the same thing could happen with a car, right? You have car crashes, so you can't bubble wrap the world and make it perfect. But you've also got drone theft to think about. I appreciate that if Amazon is delivering all their packages with Amazon Prime using drones, someone stealing from Amazon is not gonna, Jeff Bezos isn't gonna get worried about one or two drones going missing. But if you're a small company and you've got a fleet of 20 drones and some kids slingshots your drone down or something, or it crashes into a building, how do you get the drone back? Can you get it back?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They will probably have some kind of a GPS tracking on it. But so I actually fly a drone myself. I have one of the DJI drones, and it's under 250 grams. So essentially, right now, I'm not very limited because you have to have a license for it. But I'm not very limited because it's 250 grams. So if that was to fly, break down, and I was to fly into some object or a person, 250 grams is not really a big. Obviously, it's not great, but it's not a big deal. However, these drones look like they're potentially few kgs, right? So
drones, they're huge.
Yeah, exactly. So that landing on your head would be quite a substantial issue, right? And probably in order to have this implemented successfully, they need to have an automated system rather than someone flying. So their AI and collision detection and everything that goes along with that will have to be top notch before they will they'll be allowed to even use them regularly. Imagine drones crashing into each other as well. There's a lot of potential concern, but I think as technology progresses, it's going to eventually be implemented, I think.
It's inevitable, right?
Yes.
What do you use your drone for? Like just pictures and
yeah, just pictures. If you go on holiday, you can get a different perspective of the views that you're kind of surrounded by. I actually recently went on a Euro trip, so I was able to get the drone up and see how the environment around me and the views that you can get from a different perspective. Even simple stuff where you're in a group of friends and there's no one to take a picture of you. You can just take your drone out and take a picture from a distance, right?
That's cool.
So yeah.
How long, if you, I'm not asking you to make a prediction here, but if you had to gut feel, how long until this is mainstream, until you're getting the majority of your delivery orders, your Amazon packages via drone? What year would you say, if you had to spitball it and just guess?
Well, I think it all depends on the leaders that actually push for this. If there was someone like Elon Musk, for example, and he really wanted to implement this, I think maybe a year for it to have it successfully kind of implemented. If it's not someone like Elon Musk and there's various issues with it, maybe 3 or more.
I can't see it being too long, because if you're trying it with 100,000 people, if that works, I mean, cities is probably a very different challenge. That's probably a rural area. North Carolina is pretty rural, compared to New York or whatever, obviously, or London. But yeah, I mean, like certainly in the next couple of years, I can see that being a very common thing.
Yeah. Actually, when I was before I applied for my first graduate job, so one of the companies that I was applying for my first role, a recruiter contacted me and I applied for it, but I didn't I wasn't too keen about it. Anyway, so it was Domino's, and they were trying to actually, I was going to work potentially on their drone project where they're trying to implement it. So I think this was around 7 years ago or so, and they haven't really moved. So, it does take time. I know the drone technology is better now than it used to be, but yeah, it's definitely time consuming in order to implement that.
Another thing which is taking time is actually the next article. It's been going on in the news for a lot now, but the tech giant Apple hiring the former Lamborghini engineer. So Apple has been working on this autonomous electric car. Reportedly, it's never been officially said, I don't believe, but there's been loads of reports about them hiring and building up teams over the past couple of years in this area. Just to read a little bit of the article, tech giant Apple has reportedly signed a former Lamborghini engineer to join the development team of its long-rumored autonomous car. News agency Bloomberg reports Apple has employed the head of Lamborghini's Chassis and Vehicle Dynamics division to join the management team of its autonomous electric car. Luigi Taraborelli. Luigi, it'd be good to have you on this if you're ever interested. He worked for Lamborghini for more than 2 decades, most recently on a number of projects for supercars, according to his LinkedIn profile. It comes just 3 months after Apple hired a former Ford executive, and also joining a team of engineers from Tesla, Volkswagen, Ford, and Mercedes-Benz. Apple has apparently been working on the car since 2015 and has more than 5,000 employees. I mean, that's a lot of people. 5,000 employees. It's hard to keep anything secret. I can't keep a secret with 10 people. I mean, 5,000 people is pretty tricky, but it could be revealed as soon as 2025. They've had a number of setbacks, which I suppose is quite normal in the car world. We had senior members of Tesla's autopilot team moving on and joining. So they're snapping up some top talent in this space. Codenamed Titan, I think that's a pretty cool name. And it is equipped with pedals, will not be equipped with pedals or a steering wheel, instead using GPS, cameras, and other sensors. So it's purely self-driving if there's no steering wheel?
Yes, that would be the case. Yeah, I think that project is going to take if they're trying to implement a fully autonomous car, that is going to take them a long time. I think the reason why we're not seeing that right now is because, I mean, if you look at Tesla, for example, right, which would be the perfect kind of equivalent for it, they have autopilot, but yet it's still not fully functional. It's very limited. They're constantly updating it. So if they're trying to release a car that doesn't have a steering wheel and pedals, it can't have any issues that you can resolve by driving the car yourself. So Tesla is slowly implementing their autopilot and kind of improving upon it, but Apple is not doing that. In my personal opinion, I don't think Apple's approach is the fastest approach, because as you develop any software, you kind of release the beta and you kind of start working on it, and then as you release the beta, and even the first versions of your alpha versions, you can improve upon what your customers are telling you to do. So the car has to be fully functional and fully working in regards to their autopilot, before they can release it, and then find any issues and faults within their system. While Tesla is doing that by just giving you a car that you can drive, and then they can fix their little issues incrementally. Apple wouldn't be technically doing that based on this article, right? So I think because of that, it's going to potentially delay them, but maybe they can use the experience of their engineers to tackle some of that. But yeah, not a very incremental kind of improvement. It's just, a release and it works. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see.
Apple doesn't release anything that's half-baked from my experience. If they put out a phone, it's the iPhone. If they put out, they're going to be working on the watch. They're going to do probably the virtual reality headset, as it's been long rumored as well. So I kind of feel if they release an Apple car, they're going to release an Apple car. It's going to kind of go all the way. I know that was just a concept picture then, but it looks pretty cool. I've got no idea if that's actually leaked. It's probably just a render that someone's made online. But I remember hearing a story actually about, you said about Tesla. Apparently Elon Musk offered to sell Tesla to Apple, and this is a long, long time ago, back when it was worth about a tenth of what it is now. And Tim Cook wouldn't even take the meeting. So obviously back then they weren't interested in electric cars, if that story is true.
I bet he regrets now.
Yeah, I think everybody regrets not investing in Tesla back then. It was the most shorted stock in history. That more people have bet against that company than any other business ever, and Tesla's obviously crushed it. So Apple sees a gap there in the market. It's weird how the distinction between a computer company and a car company is kind of blurred away. I think Tesla really did that by making them electric on a mass scale. Because before, the idea of like IBM, where you're at, right? IBM, traditional, big computing business, and then you had like Ford, a big, vehicle company. You don't really see Ford, IBM on the same wavelength, but now Tesla has changed that. Tesla is allowing tech companies to look at cars in that way. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah, I think back in the day, the car industry and the technology industry were quite far apart.
Yeah.
And as we move forward, they became kind of integrating each other substantially. And now, I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, the car industry is kind of like an IT tech industry. The big companies have their own massive IT tech departments, which they need to invest quite a lot of money into. I mean, even if we look at cars, BMW from 2012, what kind of the technology on that was quite bad. Even, connecting your Bluetooth to your car was quite ridiculous, right? And now it's substantially changing. I mean, if you look at the brand new 2020 versions, the amount of technology on there has. I mean, you wouldn't think about, you wouldn't even consider that you can't get your car on time because there's chip shortages, right? And now, I have had friends which had their car deliveries delayed by over a year because of chip shortages. You wouldn't really think that would be the case, 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. Have you tried driverless before? It's like self-driving cars?
I haven't tried self-driving cars. However, I've drove a number of cars which you could say they're self-driving. For example, I went on holiday to Iceland recently, and we hired these Toyota RAVs, and essentially, so it would hook onto the car in front of you, so it would keep a certain distance and brake and keep the same speed as the car in front of you, and it had lane assist, so keep you in the lane. So technically, if there was a car in front of you, you could just drive the same speed, keep the same distance, and the lane assist will keep you in lane. So it's kind of driveless, but not really.
You're copying the car in front. I like that.
And it keeps you in the lane as well. So it actually would turn your steering wheel to keep you in lane, which is, kind of the first step.
You've really got to hope that the car in front doesn't swerve off and crash into the wall, though. And then you just follow suit.
Well, yes, but it will still keep you in the lanes, right? So try and just brake. But you're not supposed to, just let go of the steering wheel and let the car do what it needs to do. Still, you have to. But it's very you don't have to pay as much attention. So if you're driving for long periods of time, it will help you quite a lot.
Okay, cool. Well, look, speaking of Tesla, we kind of naturally went on to those guys by speaking about Apple there. But Tesla are also in the news at the moment. Tesla deploys cube lounges at supercharger station with automated coffee, food, and more. So I think the idea is, when you charge your Tesla, it takes a long time, usually to power it up. So now you've got these little free stations where you can go and chill out at. So Tesla has deployed large cube lounges at a supercharger station in Germany that is equipped with automated vending machines for food, coffee, and more. The new partnership with BK World, that must be the company offering the kind of hospitality, would deploy these lounges that could reshape Tesla's supercharger networks in regions where it is more challenging to deploy charging stations near amenities. I see. So you have them on long journey roads and in the rural areas and that sort of thing. Looks like they've only got a couple of locations at the moment, but they've got some pictures showing what they look like in German. So the vending machines, pizza, and I'm going to say 4 minutes. I'm guessing that's what that means. One thing I thought was pretty cool was you have the Mario Kart you can play. if they just need to make some little Tesla vehicles for the characters, and then you've got the full Elon Musk mode right there. But yeah, like pretty cool concept, right? You know, seems cool. I mean, seems nothing revolutionary, but it seems like a cool little thing for Tesla to do to stand out, I suppose.
Yeah, I think this is just another way of Tesla trying to improve their kind of infrastructure and their network of charging points. Because, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're traveling, let's say you go on a Euro trip, and you're traveling around Europe and you have to wait, 40 minutes plus to get your car charged. I mean, at the end of the day, most of the times you will take that break anyway. However, I know that there's a problem, for example, with infrastructure in regards to electric cars in Poland, for example, where you have 2 or 3 slots. And then, if no one's there, waiting 40 minutes, it's fine. But if there's 2 other cars already plugged in and there's only 2 slots, and, you're in a queue of 5 cars, you're not really you don't really want to wait for 2-3 hours to get your car charged, right? So they're trying to come up with inventive ways of getting their users to actually use their network. I think if they focus more on the time it takes for the battery to get charged, that's going to create like a massive shift of people that actually are willing to use that. Because at the end of the day, electricity is much cheaper, but it doesn't take 5 minutes for you to just stop and drive off when you're in a rush, right?
That is the big thing. It's all about getting the most out of the battery in a Tesla. I mean, Tesla is a car company, but it's more a battery company if you think about it. And it's only going to get better and better with how long they can hold charge for and how small the battery becomes. But right now the battery is pretty big in an electric vehicle. It takes a big chunk of it up. But yeah, that'll be the biggest game changer, right? When it goes down. But even on a more simple level, I just installed a wireless charger for my wife underneath her bedside table, so she can put her phone on top of the table and it charges it underneath. It's very futuristic, but just wait until we have roads that can power cars by driving on them.
Yes, or Audi is actually I've read somewhere that Audi is planning to implement wireless charging of the cars, so you could just drive in and charge your car. And to be honest with you, it's just another inventive way of trying to make life easier for the users. Because I actually have a hybrid, and every single time I stop by, park next to my house, I have to get out, take the cable out, plug it in. It's not that annoying, but it is an effort that you have to do. So if you have just some kind of a wireless charging for your car, stop your car and get out and charge your car, right? It's just another way of helping the users and make that solution more desirable for the users.
I kind of feel like someone with the personality of Elon Musk, he could have with the wireless charging. If somebody's going to do that on a grand scale, it's going to be someone like him that breaks through the noise and just has that impact on the world. How many people send a Tesla into space, or what he's doing with is it Starlink? The satellites?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he now has more satellites in space than all of the satellites combined. Like
yes,
all satellites globally combined, he has more satellites providing free Wi-Fi to Ukraine, to the world. And
the last time I've heard, I think it was 3,000. That's the last time I was researching into it. But his SpaceX allows him to do so, right?
Yeah.
The price it used to cost to get a rocket up there and back, it was insane. It was half billion, and now it's around 60 or million or something like that, right? So you can imagine. And to be honest with you, and his ideas are very so sometimes his ideas are not necessarily his ideas. He's just improving upon what's already there. And it's such a simple idea when it comes to, haven't you ever played Worms back in the day, when you had the jetpack and stuff?
Loved Worms, yeah. That's a great
Exactly. So he just gets the rocket back on the ground. And it's when I actually watched that landing, when it was live. And I was proud of the human race when that happened. It was just such a surreal experience of these rockets landing at the same time. yeah, anyone that hasn't watched that video of the first
The first one,
time,
amazing. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
it wasn't the first one. It was like the third or the fourth one because the first couple blew up. They didn't make it, but
there's quite a few that blew up, but the ones that actually landed successfully, I think it was, one of the biggest ones. I don't actually remember the name of the rocket at the moment, but yeah, it's
or something or
Big Heavy. It was the Big Heavy, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's that video. If it's the first time you watch that video when it lands, you almost don't believe it. It almost looks like it's been played in reverse, like it's just taken off. But it comes down and it just lands, and it's just absolutely bizarre, and it doesn't get enough attention really in the media. It gets a lot, but it could get a lot more. I mean, it's a pretty bizarre thing. We just need to get Elon Musk into the world of our delivering our pizza on drones. He can figure that out. If someone can do it,
Maybe. I mean, he does everything, right? He even has a flamethrower. So
really? Yeah,
you never know. Although time is limited, so it all depends on what he has time for, right?
Absolutely. Well, look, our time also limited. I think that wraps us up for today, Adrian. But thank you for coming on. Really, really good to get your thoughts and insights into some of these topics of the week that's happening in the tech world. Obviously, good to get you back on again in the future. Hopefully, it's not the last time we speak to you. But thanks very much, and thank you to everybody for watching as well.
Fantastic. It was nice to join. Thanks. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Imagine if you were able to hire the next Elon Musk. Or if you got a job at Facebook, back when it was just a startup. Well, these people and these opportunities, they are still out there, and we have access to them. Access to all of them. At Alpha Technology, we specialize in software development recruitment across London and the UK. From React to Java to C# and more. We represent the best front-end, back-end, and full-stack engineers on the market. This includes top developers from Meta, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and more. Our clients operate across AI, blockchain, VR, AR, fintech, edtech, health tech, and more. From startups to global enterprises and everything in between. But Alpha isn't just a recruitment agency. We are also a tech community. We host podcasts, run meetup events, and lead ED&I initiatives, supporting women in technology, BAME individuals, and the Tech for Good ecosystem. So, if you're a company looking to hire software engineers, or if you're a developer open to new opportunities yourself, then we are here to help. Alpha Technology. Recruiting for the future.